Okay, I'm going to call the October 25th regular town council meeting to order. It is 6:01. Mayor Mark Sukup,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brett Hansen,
Here.
Councilmember Lisa Lake. Here. Councilmember Robert Oxmacher,
Present.
Councilmember Luke Wagoner.
Here. Any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Do we have any public comments, Melissa?
No,
Okay.
there is one on Zoom.
On
Yes.
one on Zoom, a general public comment.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. And Becca, are you on? Can you hear?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Go ahead.
I'm first of all apologize to not be there in person today. However, I just wanted to, I'm Becca Bay.
Becca, could you tell us your name and your address?
Yes. Becca Bay, 4138 Main Street. I'm the owner of the CF&G Public Market and Coffee House. I just wanted to formally thank the council for the discussion, for sending over Matt Blakely, Don Toronto, and Aaron, the town manager, over to the Feeding Grain to discuss Old Town matters, to do a Q&A with residents, not specifically in Old Town, but with all of the town residents that wanted to attend. I just wanted to say thank you, and I look forward to continuing conversation and to bring some problem solving to the table as a group, as multiple entities come together and continue to move forward with the progress of our community. So just thank you very much, and I look forward to more conversations in the future.
Thanks, Becca. We appreciate that a lot. Okay. Presentations. No, that's great. And I can't express to you how much we appreciate it. That was a lot of time that you spent. We know it was, and it's just a great thing to have people out in the community that understand how the town works. And now you also know the people of the town. So if you have a question, you know who to talk to and who to go to. So I hope it was rewarding to you, because it was, we were really excited to have you all. Okay. So what I'm going to do is call out your name and give you a certificate, and then stay up here because we're going to take a whole group picture in a few minutes here too. So in no order at all, Gordon Motley. Gordon, thanks. Thank you very much. Just sort of stand right there. Grace Petrin. It's Grace. Gail Goodman. Thanks. All right, Yuri, I'm really trying. Really, Zabowski? Did I get close? Good. All right, I even got it right. Thank you. Jeremiah Miller. Thanks, Jeremiah. You can start. Tanya Motley. Guess we separated you and your husband.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. Tyra Baker. Thanks, Tyra. Dustin Pizer. Thank you, Justin. Sorry about that. I got Dustin right. Thank you so much. Jamie Schindler. Ellen Kavanaugh. I can get that one. I got a relative. Thanks, Ellen. Kylene Baker. Jen Hale Colson. Wendy Newland. Wendy's already started her service with the P&Z board. Thanks, Wendy. Dylan Moss. Thanks. Charity Taylor. Okay, Patty. Patty LaFrancois. Was that close? What's it really? Oh, I got it. Thank you so much. Thomas Cosgrove. Thanks, Thomas. And Rachel Spurrier, last but not least. Okay, we're gonna take some pictures. So let's sort of get 2 lines here. Everybody under 10 feet, go in front. There we go. Keep going, keep going. There we go. Let me scoot in here somewhere right there. That'll be great. Maybe we turn just a little bit angled so that way we can squish in. Are we good right now? Thank you, guys. Aaron, thanks for setting that up. I think it's turned out really well. And everybody that was in that class, thanks so much. We appreciate it. That was a lot of time you guys put in, and we understand that and appreciate it. So from all the council here, we'd appreciate all your effort on that. Also, I'll tell you, if you don't want to stay, it's not impolite to leave if you want. All right. Consent agenda, any comments? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor and council reports. Anybody?
I have something there, Mark.
Okay.
Robert and I, we had our council chat since the last council meeting. It was a very well attended event. We had 20 to 25 people, I think, attend. It was enough people that if we continue to have those kind of numbers, we might have to think of some tweaks to the format. It was a little hard to, to dig into the detail, level of detail I think some people would have wanted. Most of the questions, just for the council's knowledge, revolved around development, the comprehensive plan, traffic master plan. How does development happen? What's the council's role? What is our legal authority? How do we decide votes? Things of that nature. I think there was a lot of good information shared, a lot of concerns expressed that we're all generally familiar with people wanting to make sure there's thoughtful planning going on with how the town grows. And so, yeah, I don't know if Robert, if you had anything else to add on from that.
No, it was great. And I know we had a couple of attendees from the Citizens Academy show up there as well. So we appreciated that, and hope to see you all back again soon.
Awesome. Yes, Luke.
I just want to remind citizens to get their ballots in.
Excuse me?
Citizens to get their ballots in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep. Good comment. Any of the others? Okay. You know what? I'm going to go off script for a second. You start sweating, Aaron. Carolyn, we are going to be having a number of items that are going to be and are in the presented for consideration on approval, annexations, rezonings, and those kinds of things. And we as council members would love to answer all of the things and questions that are coming out, but we are being advised by council that there's this thing called ex parte communication, and that it precludes us from being able to say anything until we get to a public discussion and debate. Could you explain that a little bit better for everyone so that they understand what ex parte is? And really, from a standpoint of we as council would love to be able to communicate during this sort of silent period when we can't. Go ahead.
Okay, so some of the actions that the town council takes are legislative, and some are quasi judicial, and some are administrative. And so when you refer to ex parte communications, we're talking about when something presented before you is a quasi judicial matter. And that would be an example of that would be a rezoning or annexation, because it relates to a specific piece of property and relates to the rights of that property owner. And there are also specific criteria you have to consider when deciding whether to approve that annexation or the rezoning. And that decision has to be made on the information that's presented on the record during that public hearing and public meeting. So the reason why you can't have discussions outside of with anyone, us, the applicant or other parties relating to that matter outside of the public meeting, is because all of the information that you are going to be considering needs to be presented on the record during a public meeting or public hearing. And so for that reason, we do recommend that you not have those discussions and refer those individuals to staff instead, because they will not be making the final determination and they can answer any questions about the process and how it works. And you can just explain to them that you have to be making your decisions on the record and make sure that you haven't pre-decided anything before you come into that council meeting where it's going to be presented. And then if someone doesn't like your decision and appeals it, they actually certify the record of all of the information that was presented to you at that public hearing. And that's what the court looks at when they're reviewing your decision. So that's the other reason why it's very important that all of the information be maintained on the record.
Perfect, especially with I'm sorry I put you on the spot there too, Carolyn, but I think it's real important. I know every council person up here gets frustrated with ex parte because they'd love to answer questions that come to us on things that are in or presented to the town but are not yet at P and Z or at the council. And we're just flat precluded. And there's some good reasons for it. And I think you did a good job, Carolyn, of explaining those reasons. So thank you.
Ex parte just means off the record. So it just means a communication that is had off the public record.
Great. Thank you. Lisa, do you have anything to add to your report? Yep, go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody and let everybody know that the draft budget is on the website and it's available for public comment through November 8th. I'll take any comments or questions that I received and then I'll incorporate those into my final budget presentation to you all. So go out and take a look and give us some comments.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. Don Toronto, engineering.
I'm good unless somebody has a question.
Doesn't appear so. Community development report. Matt, do you have anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add unless I have any questions.
Okay. Chief Jones, do you have anything to add to your police staff report? Okay. Resolution number 53, series 2022. A resolution approving the 2023 Ladera Business Improvement District operating plan and budget. Carolyn.
Okay, thank you. So in the past, the town council has approved organization of the Ladera Business Improvement District, and this is their only improvement district in town. It was approved about a year ago. At the time, actually, it was 2021. At the time of approval, the town council approved the operating plan and budget for 2021 to 2022. Under the state business improvement district statute, the business improvement district is required to come to the town council every year with a budget for the next succeeding year and operating plan. The operating plan for a business improvement district acts a lot like a service plan for a special district because they don't have a special separate service plan. So what we did when the town reviewed the original operating plan for the Ladera Business Improvement District is we incorporated a lot of the limitations that were in the town's form model service plan for special districts. In this case, there is a metropolitan district as well. There are two Ladera metropolitan districts that serve the residential portions of the community. And there is a business, actually it might just be one, excuse me. And then there's a business improvement district that serves the commercial portions of the development. In this case, I took a look at the operating plan and compared it to what was submitted and approved for 2022, and it's very similar. The biggest difference is that in this case, the budget is now showing issuance of debt. Under the original operating plan, there's a combined aggregate mill levy for both the Metropolitan District and for the Business Improvement District together, and that aggregate mill levy of $95 million has not changed. In addition, the maximum mill levy has not changed. There was one minor modification in how they described the adjustment for any changes in assessed valuation. But other than that, there are very few changes to the operating plan. So the biggest change is to the budget, which now shows issuance of debt. And it shows and projects issuance of $30 million of debt in 2023. It also shows the cost of issuance associated with the debt. And I did ask a question to the attorneys for organization of the Business Improvement District as to what factored into the cost of issuance because they were different than originally projected. And the answer was that the new cost of issuance which are $1.2 million in the 2023 budget is based on what the underwriters projecting the cost of issuance will be. In the model service plan, it allows the underwriter's discount to be up to 5%. So $1.2 million, although it seems like a large amount for a cost of issuance, is still under that 5% of the $30 million. So I believe that their counsel is here or on the line if you have any additional questions for them on that piece. The special district, the Business Improvement District Act requires that the town council either approve or disapprove the budget every year. So what we'll be asking for as an action item is a motion to approve the operating plan and budget. This would be a legislative action. So the town council will be wanting to review whether their motion to approve the resolution would be in the best interest of the town and of the Business Improvement District.
Great. I think I want to interject one thing here that I think, because I think it's incredibly confusing and convoluted.
That's correct.
None of it is, thank you. Thanks, Brett. None of it's town debt.
Yeah.
Second is none of the revenues are raised are revenues of the town.
Correct.
And the budget that's set up, all our only rights is to approve or disapprove. And approving, all we're doing is approving it to say it's in the best interest of the town to approve their budget. But we have no, other than that approval, we have no authority over the collection, the sale, the getting the debt or any of that. And they do not ever appear on the town's budgets or because they aren't town debt or revenues or expenses.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. That's all absolutely correct. So there's a separate elected board of directors of the Business Improvement District. There is also an IGA between the Ladera Metropolitan District and the Ladera Business Improvement District that allows the Business Improvement District to issue debt that would be actually repaid by taxes both within the residential areas in the Metropolitan District and within the Business Improvement District. So that $30 million would be paid by taxes from up to 50 mills as adjusted for changes since 2018. And that is the limitation in the model service plan. And that could be the amount that is assessed on the properties, both within the Metropolitan District and the Business Improvement District. In addition, there may be a special improvement fee, which would be an additional tax on sales within the Business Improvement District that may be imposed at some point. But those are separate sources of revenue that would be pledged and paid, used to repay this debt. It never comes on the books of the town, and the town will not have any actions to approve the debt.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay.
I have something there, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
And just to clarify, any of the proceeds from this debt issued is legally required to be used on infrastructure for the development. There are very tight legal constraints still on how this money is to be used, correct?
That's correct. They must be public improvements. So they must be publicly owned, and they must be for the benefit of, not necessarily within, but for the benefit of the Business Improvement District or the Metropolitan Districts, the residential portions of the development, the Ladera development.
Okay. And just so council's aware, I did check with town staff on the general numbers that are outlined in the packet of how the cost of each construction item, and they do seem within the realm of being reasonable. So.
Right. And the estimated costs were also they are the same as what was presented a year ago.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other comments, questions?
I noticed that their board of directors has 5 spots, but 2 of them are vacant, and the other 3 are essentially, held by people with a financial stake.
Robert, I don't know if your speaker's on or you're just not talking into it.
Yeah, with a financial stake in the development of the business district. Should we be concerned that the board isn't filled?
Well, legally, they can act just fine with 3. That's, they can still act as a majority. Those additional positions would be up for reelection. Their next election will actually be next May, and so they will be up for reelection, but there are no residents within because it's a commercial district. So it's very common when a district is first organized that it is actually people associated with the developer who serve those roles. It's likely the same with the residential district because there are not yet commercial tenants that have moved into the area. So.
Okay. And so once commercial tenants start occupying it, who is eligible to participate in that election and run for the board?
A really great question. I believe, though, I may need, is the council on the line for the organizers? Okay. I believe that it is commercial tenants. Do you want to remind me? I'm sorry.
Sure. Good evening, members of council. Carolyn, thank you. To be eligible to serve on the board of directors of the Business Improvement District, you either need to own the commercial property in your personal name, which is very unlikely. And this is one of the unique statutory circumstances where corporations can designate an elector to vote and run for the board on their behalf. So once we have more tenants, more landlords within the district, those people will be eligible to vote as well as take seats on the board.
Thank you for clarifying. Can you remind us who you are? Disembodied voice?
I apologize. This is Russ Dykstra from Spencer Fane. I'm counsel to the Business Improvement District.
Thank you.
And then the plan for this year is to go ahead and collect at the 50 mil levy, which is essentially the maximum that can be collected, right?
That's what's shown in the budget, and it is shown that it's being assessed for operating purposes. So likely the thought is once they issued the debt that maybe the first payment wouldn't be due that year, but it could either be, it's a maximum aggregate amount that could be either for operation and maintenance or for debt issuance or both together.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 53, series 2022, a resolution approving the 2023 Ladera Business Improvement District Operating Plan and Budget?
I move to approve the resolution approving the 2023 Ladera Business Improvement District Operating Plan and Budget.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next one's sort of a strange one. Every 2 years, we need to open up to the public a forum to allow the public to discuss the appointment of the town municipal judge. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Robert, if you'd like to be more clear about it than I am. Obviously, you're the legal expert here on what exactly we need to do here with our judge.
Yeah. So the town charter does require us prior to reauthorizing the current municipal judge to solicit and accept public comment. So if anyone here tonight, I don't think, has anyone signed up? Okay. So if anyone out there does have feedback, that can also be submitted to the town just through our general public comment email address. But I expect that the council will see an agenda item likely on our next meeting to take action on either reappointing the current municipal judge or appointing a different municipal judge. And so that will be an action item that we should look for in the future. But certainly if there is public comment out there that will help us inform that decision, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. And that was mainly just a discussion item there. Okay. Don, I'm going to have I'm getting you teed up here a little bit. So next item's Latham Parkway. You know, we've got a street that all the way from Denver to Timnath is called Colorado Boulevard, and we call it Latham. And so all the towns along the way have the same name. And then it gets here. And in my opinion, it gets real confusing as to why we suddenly changed a direct path to Latham. I've checked with Don, and Don, to your recollection, there was no reason, I mean, a substantive reason, let's go there, to call that street Latham Parkway.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Harmony is called Harmony all the way through to Severance. Colorado is Colorado all the way through Windsor to Timnath. Right now, we have hardly any businesses or residents on Latham. If we're ever going to change it and make it simple for people following MapQuest, it would be now. And so, it's open it up for such discussion on whether we want to change the name of that street.
So I know this came up a few years ago where we talked about this as well. And one, I've never called it in Windsor, Colorado Boulevard, whatever it's called, because it's always just County Road. And I personally don't feel like it actually connects because you end at the road and then you have to turn right and then you have to turn left again to get back to the same road. So I feel like when somebody says Latham Parkway, I know exactly what they're talking about. So I'm absolutely fine keeping it the way it is.
Now appreciate that street's going to get straightened out. So the long-term, am I correct on that, Don? The long-term plan is that street, right where it does its little zigzag, is going to be straightened out to connect to what we call Latham Parkway, I guess.
You're talking about in Windsor.
Yes, I'm talking about it in
32E.
Windsor where you reach County Road 68.5, another weird name, but.
Yeah, the plan is to straighten that out for sure.
I still like that in Timnath, it's our own name, but I don't have a strong preference. Is there any address currently on Latham, and do they consider it to be Latham, and would it have an impact on them?
So I will actually provide some clarity to mark your first question about how it got named. Back in 2010, there was actually about 8 streets in town that were based off of just the county road designation. The council at the time then renamed a majority of those streets to historic names and figures that we're back with the history of the original Timnath. So like when Bus Grove was done, it was County Road 40 renamed to Bus Grove, Latham, et cetera. So that was kind of how that name came about. It was at the time that council decided we should rename a lot of these major county roads off of that. The question about addresses, there aren't specific Latham addresses off of that road. Depending on if you're in Weld County or Larimer County, your address is either Weld County Road 13 addressed or Larimer County Road 1. Not even Colorado Boulevard, not even County Line Road. It's based off of the county that you're in, and they go off of the original county road. That's how the actual addressing is done, not just only for post, but for deliveries and to get to the person's house. So there's no house, there's actually no property within Timnath that actually fronts the road. Anything that would front the road that's under Timnath jurisdiction is within a subdivision. Every other property that gains access from it for their personal home or residence is in the county, either Weld or Larimer.
And I'm a lot like you, Lisa. I don't want to make a big deal out of this. It just makes sense to me to call it Colorado Boulevard. Now, if we decide not to, I don't. It's just not that big a deal. It's an issue I don't want to spend a lot of time up here with. It seems weird that you hit Highway 392 and it says Colorado Boulevard there on both ways. And then all of a sudden we hit Latham coming across. So that's my two bits.
I just feel like we've all known it as Latham. So to me, it's more, it would be more of an issue changing it from what we know. I don't really care what it's called in Denver. Like, I don't live in Denver. I don't travel that road in Denver. So my thing is like, it would be hard, and part of it is personal, because it'd be hard for me to get my mind around that and have to start calling it something different than I've called it for the last quite a few years.
Luke?
Is it called Colorado after Mulberry? Is that where Colorado starts again? So it's 68.5 to Mulberry. Is that right?
I don't believe it picks up as Colorado north of Mulberry. I believe it's just back to a county line road at that point. Once it kind of leaves the Timnath jurisdiction, it might get Colorado. The funny thing about it is it actually has 5 designations depending on where you're at. It's either Weld County Road 13, Larimer County Road 1, County Line Road, Colorado Boulevard, or Latham. So there are other sections of that road that actually do call out the county road designation, or even County Line Road for that matter.
Thank you.
You want to make any comment, Brett?
I'm fine with Colorado.
So our traffic transportation problems in Timnath are a regional problem. 80% of the traffic that comes through our town, is a regional thing. I think to solve these problems, it will take regional thinking. And I think the symbolic act of renaming it Colorado projects a message that we are part of a region. And I would support it for that reason. It's not just our road, it connects into a bigger system.
I was going to ask, what would it take to rename it? Like, can you walk me through that? Because I just don't know.
So since there are no addresses that are Latham Parkway specific, it would be just as, we'd have to look at it a little bit more, talk with Carolyn a little bit more. But it would be a resolution that was just as it was done 12 years ago, a resolution by the council to then rename the street. And then we would have to talk with the county and LIDA to then have that officially changed. But it would be a resolution by council to at least get the name changed. Yep. And then physically go out and change street signs.
I think from my perspective, I would vote or support Colorado Boulevard.
So I think what we direct you to do is see if there is any significant cost to changing it to Colorado Boulevard, and come back in a future meeting and say, hey, here's the cost, here's what goes. If there's some consideration we haven't come up with now, that you bring it up and that we go from there.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay. Everybody good with that? Any other items? Do I have a motion to close?
I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.